Hello and welcome back. So today what we're going to do is talk through what's in my educator's bag this year, and it's a rather large one because over the past few years as a teaching assistant I've been based in a lot of different classrooms, so I've had to take my things with me wherever I go, whether it be Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2. I had to be able to transport everything with me because I didn't have a base, I didn't have a room, I didn't have a certain teacher that I was working with. I was bobbed all over. So this year I've done the same because I'm in the same boat. I'm actually volunteering at somebody's school this year and I have no idea where I'm going. So I thought I'd share with you what's in my kit today. So first of all, I have a little pack, and in here we have all sorts of literacy resources, and the resources such as word mats and things like that. So I'll get me my... Oh, it's jam-packed. I'll get my resource for the word mats out. So this is it, and it's got things like story openers, connectives, adjectives, adverbs, and in this little pack, which I made using a keyring, I printed them off in A5 from, I believe, Twinkle and maybe Teacher's Pet, and there are all sorts of different things like story openers, word mats, feeling words, words to use instead of said, adjectives. This one is to use the right connective. What else have I got in there? Adverbs, pronouns, words instead of looked, all those things that you need at the drop of a hat with a group that you might be teaching for intervention and things. So I printed them off A5, laminated them, made them into a little booklet, and I did originally have about 8 of these, but I'm down to 1 now because they've all been used and popped in classrooms here, there and everywhere. So I do advise you making something like that for your kit. The next one is for when we get told to take out certain reading groups, whether it's guided read, whether it's just take the comprehension question in a guided read that the children have done, and off the top of your head you can't always think of really good questions to challenge the children. So again, off, I believe this is Twinkle, there are guided reading questions, and again I just popped it on I think a paper clip, this one, but you can secure it with a pin, a split pin or a key ring, but they're just different things to have so that you're not stuck. It's not going to put you on the spot, and you can sort of prompt children with these as well so they're not put on the spot. So I always have a guided, well, it's not a guided read, it's just for general reading questions, but they come under guided reading when you want them from Twinkle. So I've got that. I've also got a clock, a little whiteboard clock. Now I use this because a lot of the children I've taken in the past year needed help with their times, you know, telling the times, digital, analog, and this gives you the space to do both. You can use the clock above to do the analog time, and then they can write it in the digital time below. Everything moves. It's also got your minutes broken down into 5s, and it's got 2:15, it's got your hour and minute hand labelled. This is such a lovely little tool to use and have. I believe this is from Tesco's in England. I'm sure you can find them at like Walmart in America and places like that, but it is a whiteboard one, but you could also just make your own. That's simple enough to make, but it's just great to have in your kit. I always carry that in my bag. The reason why I carry all these resources is because so many times I've been trying to round up resources and it takes 15 minutes to go and find it, then to see if somebody else is using it, wait for them to finish with their group. So because every minute counts in the school, I thought, you know what, I'll do my own, or I'll buy my own, and I'll have it forever anyway. So it's like an investment really. I know that a lot of teaching assistants can't afford this, and a lot of teachers can't afford it all over the world. So I'm giving you different ideas what you can do. I mean, you don't have to print it off, you don't have to laminate it, you can write them down on a piece of paper and use that. As long as it's there ready for you, it makes your job a little bit easier. The next one I've got is your multiplication squares. Again, with the children I had, we did a lot of times table work, so I had to have these ready to use and to do little starters for a math session I was doing, or just as a reminder before they got tested. So I had quite a lot of these. This one's a Sparkle Box. This one's free, you can just download this one. They come in different sorts of themes. This one's butterflies. I've had the zoo, I've had jungle, I've had all sorts. The next one is The next one is just a simple pack of whiteboard cards. Now I bought this from a supermarket and there was about 50 in there I think, but simple enough to make with white paper that's laminated, and you can use these for all sorts. They're just really handy if you're doing a brainstorm session, if you're asking children to match the answers to the times table questions. You can use them for maths, you can use them for English, you can use them for question time, whatever you need. They're just really handy to have in your kit. Everybody needs flashcards, don't they, in the job? So I do recommend you get a pack of those, or make a pack. The next one is a little rainbow question key ring. Now this one I made because I had children with special educational needs a lot, and the questions they needed to answer had to be at quite a simplistic level, but enough to challenge them as well. So I knew what questions they needed to sort of be asked, so I made this for their needs specifically. And you can use such as Twinkle's guided reading questions, but just simplify them to your child's needs. And I just put them on coloured card, laminated them, popped a little keyring on, and I did about 10 of those, and we're down to one. So again, very popular. The children love using them. It's colourful, it's not boring black and white. So that one's for a specific need, so I always carry those around because I'm always put with, I wouldn't say low ability children, just children with special educational needs, be it that they need help in English, help in maths. I always have stuff ready and available for them. And yes, you will build up a huge pack at the end of the day, but honestly, it's worth it to just keep these things in your school bag. I've got different flashcards of pictures to help the children write a story, because more often than not we do story mountains in England, and they just help children just have a session on spelling, using the punctuation right, grasping how a story's written, different sections. So it's great to have flashcards because it just helps the children's imagination. And these ones you can get off communicationforall.co.uk, and I believe that's free as well. But they're lovely little flashcards. You can print them off in many different sizes. I've had these A4, I've had them teeny tiny on a keyring for the children, but they just help them. Instead of sat there stuck wondering what to write about, they've got ideas straight away. And they're never the same, they're always different, so you can use the same batch year after year after year. They're dictionaries, not just your standard dictionaries. This one's specially for spelling, punctuation and grammar. It's your SPAG dictionary. We also have Oxford Science Dictionary, nice thick one, and we also have the Oxford Study Maths Dictionary. Now the reason I got these is because I went from being a TA in year 1 and 2 to being bobbed up in year 6, and they were using language that I'd all but forgotten. To be honest with you, I'd forgotten a lot of what they were talking about in maths. It's such a high standard of maths we now teach, and once you get your head around it, you're fine. But when you popped into that class straight away and you think, oh, I haven't heard that, or I haven't done that for a long time, let me just refresh myself. Instead of you going on the internet or anything in front of the children, get yourself a dictionary and it runs through it for you. Such as if you'd forgot how to do perimeter and area of something, it's all in here. And it also helps the children as well. I've often popped these out for the children to use to source their information. Instead of saying, oh, Miss Fairy, what does this do? I can say, well, find it out in the dictionary and show me when you found it, and I'll tell you if you're right. So they're a good source of information for you, but they're also good to use with your children. So I think I got these from a local book club in our area. I know that you can possibly get them from theworks.co.uk and thebookpeople.co.uk as well. And they're not a lot of money. They say £10.99 on the back of some of them, but I won't have paid that. No way. So whether I got them in a pack of 3, I'm not sure. Just have a look and see what you think. The next thing I always carry around is a Key Stage 2 workbook. Now, the reason I carry this around with me is it's from ages 9 to 11. I often found that there was always a file available in Key Stage 1 and the lower Key Stage 2, but when you got to years 4, 5 and 6, there wasn't a file of activities to use for the children, so you often had to source it there and then go and print it off. Oh no, photocopy is not working, what do I do? So I just thought, if I have a book and the photocopy is not working, I can copy what's on the book onto the board, and I am, I'm ready. I don't have to source the resources, they're in my bag, I've got them, I can start that group straight away. Now this one is Gold Stars, and I think I bought this from Aldi. So Aldi has some superb workbooks, and I know I've got all the different ages to this as well. I've left them in a classroom I'm working in, but I have brought this one home, and it's got lots and lots of things in. This one's maths, English and science. So if you're told to run a little group at the drop of a hat in upper key stage 2 and lower and key stage 1, this age range comes in, then you need one of these, and they're really, really useful, and it tells you the answers as well in the back, so you don't have to spend time working out what you're teaching the children. You could be a bit lazy and look at the answers and do the ticking. Next one, I have a little literacy box. Now in here are just idea starters. So we have Roarette story cubes. Now they come in lots of different packets. I'll just show you the ones I've got. This one first of all, this is the original packaging. I think it come in a little sack, and I got these from Florida. I'd never seen them in England, but they do sell them in England. And what they are is they're little dices, and all over them you've got little pictures like an alien head, a key, a shooting star, and there's 9 of them. And what we used to use these for was a speech and language group, and we used to roll the dice, and whatever it started on, the children would tell me a sentence to break the ice in the group, and then the next child would carry that sentence on with whatever they rolled, and it becomes a huge, mostly nonsense story, but the children absolutely love doing it. And again, it's your resource, you've got it ready, you don't have to source this. The children who are talking to you don't have to wait for things. They can, you know, there's 9 dice in here, and you can have a full group's worth of dice in this little pack. So really, really recommend those. And again, I think the new version is it comes in a box. There you go. So it's lovely packaging, really worth having them. I forget how much they are, but they won't cost me a lot because I couldn't afford a lot. The next ones are Amazon dices, and these ones are, I use them for speech and language, and they've got lots of different suggestions on them. Name a time when you were happy, if you were going to the moon, what would you take? They're just simple question starters for a group, or even a starter for storytelling, writing a paragraph of information if you need the children to jazz up on their punctuation use or connectives, things like that. You've got them ready. This will have only cost a few pounds, I think, and they're spongy dice, so they're not going to break. And then the other one, I popped a sensory. I use this for sensory questions. What can you hear, feel, taste, touch, smell? Because that's what we were focusing on in class. You can customise the dice with simple stickers, so that's what I did with this one, and we've used this so much. We've used it in communication groups, we've used it in speech and language, we've used it in EAL, English as Additional Learning. We've used this one. So as I say, they're just fabulous little tools to have, and they won't cost a lot. The next one are, if you go into Twinkle, you can print off your very own story dices. So these are pictures, lots of different things. We've got people on that one, we've got buildings on this one, and this one's just general fairy tale things. And again, we'll just use them as a story starter. If you're taking a class, you can just pass them around the classroom. They're just really handy to have. So I've got a little box of those. The next thing I've pulled out is my fiddle zip bag. Now in here I've got lots of different fiddle toys, so I'll just show you them quickly. I've got the most expensive one, which I bought for a specific child. He had autism, so I bought this for him, and he absolutely loved it. He played with it every day. It calmed him down. It stopped him being quite a disruptive little body in the classroom if he could focus on this. So that's from Amazon. That one cost about £15, I think, whereas this one, a little cube, got the same things, you know, to press, flip, twirl, but this one was about £5. So they come in different shapes and sizes. This one is a fiddle cube, and you open it up, turn it round, and it all bends. It's like a Rubik's cube, except it doesn't twist. You just fold it. So it's nice and quiet. That one won't cost a lot either. I also have a tangle. That's what they actually call is a tangle. So if you pop that in Amazon, that's what will pop up, different tangles. This one's a sensory tangle, and it's got different surfaces. It's got bumpy ones, smooth ones, rough ones. So it's a tangle toy. The children love that. And the last one I have is my newest edition, which is a pea popper, and you pop the peas up. They pop out, but this one's a really good one for a school trip because you can't lose the peas, they're attached. So they can push them all up. There's 3 peas in a pod, and they come in a pack of 3. You can pop them on a little, if they're wearing a lanyard for the school trip, you can pop it on there nice and safe, and it's quite an easy pusher, so little hands will be fine with it. So that's my little fiddle bag, and again this is used for a behaviour management strategy for when you're taking an intervention group, but it's also to help children who struggle focusing. It helps them focus. I was that child who doodled and was probably looked at like, oh, she's not doing as she's told. But I was listening to what the teacher was saying, but had to be doing something with my hands. And if we'd have had these sort of things when I was a little girl, that's what I'd have been given, a fidget toy. So I always have a pack of those with me. The next little resource I have in my teaching bag is a times table cube. And it comes in a lovely box like this. And it's a times table cube that you open and fiddle, much like the fidget cube. This one's full of times tables, and the children love this. So when you need a child to maybe focus on their times tables, but you don't want to give them a sheet, a boring black and white sheet, they often love this little cube to learn with, and you can make it yourself. There is, on YouTube, there is a little tutorial on how to make these little folding cubes, and then you just cover it with your times tables. So dead easy. Again, you don't have to buy it, you can make it from scratch. I think this one will last a bit longer because it's solid, whereas if you're making themselves, going to be quite hollow, aren't they, inside. But see if there's another tutorial out there that makes a solid one. You never know. This one's getting really ratty, so I bet I'm making my own soon. So this will have cost about a few pounds, but I've had it for about 7 years now, and it's only just starting to look a bit worn and torn. So yeah, they're great to have in your kit. The next one is my little singles marble jar. This one is because I had a little person who really struggled with their behaviour in a group activity, so we tried to help them concentrate by having their own marble jar to earn marbles while they were taking the group with us. And there's just simple stones inside here, and they earned 5 stones in a lesson, and if they earned those 5 stones they got a bigger incentive, such as extra 5 minutes extra play time or computer time at the end of the day. Just something to help them focus and want to behave in your classroom environment. And it worked to treat, it really did, because they could see it. It wasn't like a behaviour chart, they were getting these. It's a practical resource. When they feel the stone, they pop the stone in, oh, they're building up. They really love this little resource. So it's, like I said, it's a little coffee jar. It's covered with holographic stickers, and that's it. And garden pebbles are in it, so it shouldn't cost a lot, and we're recycling. So there we go. The next thing I have is my pencil case. Now this has gone from a little pencil case to a rather large pencil box. And in here is absolutely everything I need, from a hole puncher, stapler, staple remover for the walls, for your displays. It's got Sharpies, felt tips, crayons, pencil crayons, because there's nothing worse than sending your children back into a classroom for a pencil, for a pen, for a packet of felt tips. If you have them and you're carrying them all over with you, whether you're going outside for an outdoor activity to sit on the grass and do your looking for mini beasts, you've got everything in this little kit. I've even got hand sanitizer in there. So we've got post-it notes, highlighters. We've got lots of different coloured pens, because in England we do different marking schemes, and you use things from green pens, pink pens, blue pens, purple pens. So it's always good to have a selection of those. I've also got pointers that children use when they are reading. They follow along with a pointer. They absolutely love that. And yeah, that's everything in there. And I've also got my Good Work stamps in there. So that's not just automatically that big. That's been over about 6 years I've collected all those things, but they're super useful, and I find that I always need them, because I could be told to go into the hall to take a little group, or it could be a one-to-one session outside on the picnic benches. So it's great to have everything in there so that you can take it out with your bag. And I'm going to show you my bag now. I'll insert a picture. And everything I've shown you lives in the top of this bag, and this bag's on wheels, so I can take it all over the school, down ramps. I even lift it down steps, even though it's quite heavy. So it's just totally mobile, and that's what I needed, a bag that could be absolutely filled, jam-packed with stuff that I needed. So this one fit the bill. So I'll insert it so you can have a look. And there we go. I'll go into the bottom half of it now. So in the bottom half of this bag, I've got lots of different sections, and by sections I mean plastic wallets. They're all colour coded, they're all labelled, and there are different subjects that I know that a lot of teachers use their teaching assistants for. So this one's just full of stickers and reward and behaviour charts and praise bands and things like that. So it's absolutely jam-packed full. There's even personalised stickers in there that people have got me for Christmas, and I absolutely love them. It's lovely to see at the end of the day that your little, say you're teaching a little girl and she's done you some fantastic work, and you pop a sticker on, Miss Fairy is really proud of me, and she goes outside to Mummy and Daddy and they say, why is Miss Fairy proud of you? And she has to say, oh, because I got a test score and it was 80 out of 100 and she's really proud of me. And it helps that cohesive relationship between you and them parents as well, because at the end of the day you can't always see every parent, but if they know their child's done something for you today and you're super proud, then it just helps them sort of make a bond with the teacher, doesn't it? And we're all about the cohesive relationships. We are. So yeah, I would advise you get a lot of stickers and praise bands and things like that. Next thing I have is the packs that the children's books come home for me to mark in. So this one's my fast forward grammar group, and it's all inside there are the children's books that are completed for the week, and I take them home to mark. So they all come home in these different Ziploc bags, so I might have 5 different Ziploc bags in the bottom of this bag, all with my different lessons in. So I know exactly who I'm marking, who's being marked, and I always either put a green post-it note or a red post-it note in the packet so that I can clearly see, yes, I've marked those, or I need to mark those. Green that I've marked, red that I need to mark. Just helps me, you know, quick look, have I done them? Did I remember to do them? The next little packet I've got is place value things. So all in here are things to do with place value for children, and it's things that I've got from the teachers I've been working with, and things that I've come across online that I thought, oh, I can use that in this group, and they're just really helpful because more often than not, whatever the teacher's teaching in class, you will be asked to do a recap group or a booster group. So it's always handy to have the sheets that they have been using, so that the next year you can say, oh, it's okay, Mrs. Hargreaves, I've got those sheets from last year, you don't need to print me them out, I've already got them. And it just helps your relationship grow as well, that you're quite ready and organised for things. So that one's jam-packed with hundreds, tens and units, fans, graphs, whiteboards. We've got questions, worded questions about place value. We've got practical things to do. So that one's jam-packed with place value. The next one is time, and in here I've got lots of time bingo, digital analog, written times, worded questions. We've got lots of clocks to draw on, clocks to move the hands on, things that I've made, things that you can print off as well. There's lots of sites out there for you to print things off. We've got stamps in here. We've just got all sorts. So I know that when the teacher says to me, Miss Fairy, you need to go out and just have a look at 1/2 and 0:00 times, I can say, oh, I've got a worksheet on that, don't worry, off I go. Every minute counts, you've sorted it, it's ready. So that one's full of time. This one is shapes, 2D and 3D. There are flashcards, match cards, memory cards, bingo, things to find around your school. There are products. We use this one. This one's find the products and name the 3D shape. We went to a supermarket and we had so many pounds each to spend, and we tried to see if we could get every shape that was on our sheet, such as a tin of beans for a cylinder, trying to find the tea bags that were in a pyramid shape. So it's a really lovely little school trip if you need to do a math school trip. Very successful, and we put all the products on display in the classroom. So that one's all shape. This one's full of fractions, equivalent fractions. We've got lots of worded fractions in there because the children needed that I was with. So that one's full of fractions. This one is angles, and this is a protractor, and it's a see-through one made on cellophane, and that was so that I could use it on the whiteboard for the children to follow me with their little one. And we've got acute angles, obtuse, right angles, reflex, lots of different worksheets for those. Can you find angles in the classroom? So you go on an angle hunt. Shapes as well in there we've included to measure the angles of the shape. So that one's jam-packed full of angle work. This one's full of times tables, division, addition and subtraction. So it's an all-rounder is this one. And we've got flashcards, match it cards. We've got games in there as well, because I find that the younger children love to learn if it's in a game form. So there's lots and many different games in there. There's little mini tests, mental maths, you know, where you can do a quick 5-minute times table check. And we've got worded questions, flashcards, halving and doubling, lots of different things like that. So that one, as I say, is jam-packed full of that. The last thing in the bottom of my bag is the literacy file. So in this, it's absolutely jammed full of all the different literacy things I've done in classrooms or been asked to do with the children in my care. We've got things from Shakespeare, sentence building, pronouns, proper nouns. We have got writing a newspaper article, tenses. We've got poetry. Lots and lots of different things ready for the children to use. We've got mystery writing. We've got spellings, different high frequency, low frequency words, so that I can take a spelling group out. We've got grammar. We've also got transition work for the children going to high school. So in here it's jammed full of lots of different literacy things, and I more often than not need this file, whether it's doing work on adjectives or doing work on spelling, punctuation and grammar. Everything I need in here, and it ranges from Key Stage 1 again to Key Stage 2, because we tend to do the same things, don't we, teaching assistants. You help boost that little low ability group up, or you work with the special educational needs children, or you're often used for the high ability children to challenge them even further and things like that. So I don't ever not use these things. They are always in use, and if I'm not using them, I'm lending them to another TA. It just makes our job 110% easier to have everything. Normally I would have had this in a classroom cabinet, you know, in your little shelf in there locked away, but because I'm on the move, don't know which classroom I'll be in, I have to have it all ready to wheel about. So all that was in the bottom of my bag. So it's an absolutely jam-packed bag. I hope seeing some of the stuff I have in my teaching bag helps you build yours. If you're a teaching assistant that's up, down, all over and everywhere, I hope it helps you decide what you might need, what you don't need. And I hope you can take some ideas from this. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.